Hey, Brittany, do you know what happens to a toad that gets struck by lightning?
The same thing that happens to everything else.
Awesome writing.
The best.
All right, it is he and she are doing the X-Men today.
All of them.
Prepare your bodies.
Every one of them. Get ready.
Now, the new X-Men movie, we just watched it today. I gotta say, not my favorite X-Men movie.
Not in my top. How many of them are there?
There is 6 now, counting both trilogies. We're not going to count the Wolverine
Okay.
movies in these gray
It's
areas.
separate.
Yeah, so counting the 2 trilogies now, the 6 movies.
Well, I would say that obviously it has to make my top 6, but it ain't in the top 5.
It's in my top 5, not in my top 3. I would say it is number 5.
What's your number 6?
My number 6 is the third one.
Maybe the third one is my number 6 as well, because I don't remember what happened in it.
You don't have to.
All right, so what did you think about the characters in the movie?
I gotta say, when you look at a superhero movie, the characters are the most important aspects of it. It's what drives me personally to go see a superhero movie. Do I want to see that superhero or superheroes in action? And I gotta say, this movie had a good variety of superheroes.
I agree.
It did have Jean Grey in it, which I really liked.
Yes.
Sophie Turner is Jean Grey from Game of Thrones. You had, Cyclops was in it now. You had, of course, still had Magneto and Xavier. You had Jennifer Lawrence reprising as Mystique.
Yes.
So you had quite a few good rounded characters. Quicksilver, of course, he comes back. He had that incredible scene in the last movie where he goes really fast, suit slows down,
yes.
And he's got another cool one in this one as well.
Of course.
So he's a great character. So I will say that the characters were really, really cool. There was a cool variety of cast, a good diversity of cast, a lot of good representation. I gotta say, I wasn't fond of the acting for a lot of the characters.
That was my next question.
Yeah,
What
weakest
did you
point.
think about the acting? Because I think I'm going to say something that might break your heart.
Maybe.
It might hurt a little bit.
Maybe. Are you gonna say Sophie Turner didn't do a good job as Jean Grey?
Sophie Turner, what are you doing? What are you doing?
You're a great Stark. Are you a great Grey?
Yeah, she's a great Stark because in that movie she can pretend to have emotion but hold it back. But you can't do that on this movie. That's not what's called for. So she let me down, honestly.
I wasn't a huge fan, but I did like her in the role. I just wish it had been used a little bit differently.
I mean, just because she looks like the character doesn't mean she did a good job as the character.
Fair enough.
In my personal
I will
opinion.
say you do definitely see the differences in the quality of acting experience.
Yes.
That James McAvoy, that Oscar Isaac who played the villain. Of course, Poe Dameron from Star Wars. Michael Fassbender, the heavy hitters, the 4 heavy hitters.
Yes.
They really proved that they had a lot more, investment in their acting talent.
Who was your shining star as far as acting goes?
My shining star for acting has got to be... It's got to be Michael Fassbender. Every time Magneto is on the screen, I'm interested. I love his portrayal of Magneto, and I love Magneto when he's on the screen.
I completely agree with you. He had a lot of opportunity in this movie to show a lot of different types of emotion, and I really feel like he did that in a very believable way. I gotta give a shining star. I know I'm biased. I'm playing favorites, but Quicksilver has quickly become one of my favorite characters, and I think that Evan Peters did a great job with his character again. And I fell in love with him as an actor in a few of his other forms of media. But I really like his character.
Right. I did like Quicksilver. I laughed every time he was on.
Yeah.
I did. I enjoyed
it.
He was very tongue-in-cheek character, and I really appreciated that. I liked him when he was on the screen. I had fun with him
Yes.
when he was on the screen.
Yes. One character that did not stand out to me at all, and I question how important of a character they are, is, what's her name? Olivia
Olivia Munn.
Olivia Munn.
Psylocke is who you're thinking of.
Yes. I question the importance of that character. I wasn't feeling it. I felt like she was just taking up screen time. How do you feel?
It felt like they just needed someone else to fight. So
Yeah, that is how it
insert
felt.
Psylocke.
It is how it felt. Now, the portrayal of Storm, it was a great opportunity for us to kind of get some of her backstory, which I appreciate. I liked it.
I liked Storm in the like adult trilogy, like the ones where they're all adults now, or then. I gotta say, I did not actually really like Storm in this movie. Sorry.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. So let's talk about the plot a little bit. What did you think about the story as a whole?
As a whole for the story, here was my gripe with the story.
Okay.
And it's always, I feel like the last 3 X-Men movies, and I guess it's just because Michael Fassbender can act it, it feels like in every story it is about Magneto losing something that he cares about, getting really upset about it, and then talking him into being a good guy at the end of it.
I cannot argue with you.
That has literally been the idea of his story arcs for the last 2 characters, and I like watching it.
Yeah,
I like it, Michael.
Yeah.
Fazzy. I like it, Fazzy. But
old fuzzball.
Old fuzzball. But I don't know. I don't know if maybe I needed to see that a 3rd time. But it fit into the role. Like it was a kind of a necessary evil for this movie.
It needed to happen for the story in this movie. And, the difference between this one and the other movies is that this wasn't the main story arc.
Right.
It was a supporting story arc.
I felt like the movie started incredibly slow.
I had some problems with the beginning of the movies. It felt almost disjointed to me.
Yeah.
And also, as a viewer that doesn't know a lot of backstory about the X-Men in general, I felt myself questioning, when is this? Is this before or after a series of events? Like, where is this? Why are we here? So for me, it was choppy, disjointed, and a little confusing.
My problem with it is it was the 3rd movie in the trilogy that they're doing, and it felt like another origin story. Like the beginning of it, where like they find new mutants, like they introduce new mutants, like they show off their powers and like the dynamic of trying to get to know each other. Like it didn't feel like the movie had a middle. Like it felt like you meet everybody, like everybody comes together.
Now let's go do the big scene.
And then everyone goes to the big fight. It felt like there was no middle at all to that movie.
I definitely see what you're saying there, and that wasn't something that I had thought about before you said it, but now that you say it, I'm like, yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Like I had
That makes sense.
I had no emotional build up. Like
now,
as soon as like the character showed up, it was like boom, fight bad guy.
And now regarding just the overall story arc of the movie, something that was a little bit hard for me to believe as a viewer, and it was something I was doubtful of as a viewer, is that I mean, I know a little bit about Apocalypse and like what his capabilities are, where he came from, and it almost seemed like he was such a bad guy and so capable and powerful. I really questioned like the defeat of this character.
Yeah, I had that problem too. Like this was someone who's lived for almost 6,000 years, like longer than that.
Yes.
And like he was able to keep himself alive for millennia. And then all of a sudden, the way he's defeated feels like no spoilers, but it was just kind of ham-fisted. Like you know the bad guy's gonna lose. Like,
and it's crazy because like this bad guy was so powerful and so big and almighty that it was like, this is a really bad dude, and you guys beat him.
Yeah, there was no emotional payoff.
I almost wish that it had been so hard to defeat him that it would have called for another movie. Because I think that this bad guy was so bad, it would take that long to beat him.
Yeah, there was not enough screen time, and Oscar Isaac needs all of the screen time. This movie needed 100% more Oscar Isaac.
Yeah. I like Oscar Isaac.
I love Oscar Isaac. Oscar, if you watch this, you're one of my favorites.
Let's have lunch.
Let's have lunch, Oscar.
Okay, so as far as like production and CGI and graphics go, how do you feel?
The CGI was so hit and miss in this. Like, it was either like, wow, what an incredible spectacle that you've pulled off, or holy crap, this looks like it's on the Super Nintendo.
Can I say something that I forgot to say about the characters?
Please do.
I'm sorry. I'm going out of order. So, Jean Grey. I mean, I feel pretty confident that I know what her powers are. You know, like she can move stuff with her mind.
Right.
And she can, like, get all up in your head.
Right.
And there were parts of this movie where I was like, can this girl even do this? What is this girl doing? Do you have these powers? So I was really questionable about her powers in this movie and, like, what they made her capable of doing.
Jean Grey's a weird character, and I don't want to make the internet mad. But the problem that I have with Jean Grey in the movie specifically is it felt like they were writing her powers in just to make it fit with the movie. Like, they weren't
I see what you're saying.
Like, they weren't just like, okay, this is Jean Grey's skill set, so she has to react a certain way. It was, here's what's happening in the movie. What character
Jean Grey can now throw semis!
Yeah.
Which, that's not a
like,
spoiler, it's a joke.
Yeah. But, like, I felt like she was being used as a tool to fix any situation that comes up. 100.
Yes.
Keeping it real.
Now, back to that CGI. Sorry about that. Had to go on a little tangent. I completely agree with you. Some parts of it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. This looks so real. Like, you should get paid lots of money for this. And then there were other parts, like, I don't know if they were just using, like, stock footage or something or what. But
did you Google
was
this? Like, did you Google this image?
Who built that object? Because it looks horrible. Like, there were some things that really stuck out to me.
It was like, I don't like it when I can tell that it's CGI.
Yeah.
Like, it really breaks the immersion, and there were some very immersion-breaking parts. The highlight, I think, is, to bring him up again, Quicksilver. Quicksilver CGI scenes, all of his are brilliant.
Oh, amazing. Better than the last movie.
Yeah, much better than the last movies.
And
he
the
was
last
doing
movie
a whole
was
lot more.
great.
And the effects that I didn't much care for were probably Angel's. His wings and stuff.
Angel's effects, he goes through, I guess we can...
Mutant puberty with his wings. He goes through some changes.
He got some molting going on. That's not a spoiler. I mean, everything with feathers molt, so that's not a spoiler.
That's just science, people.
Yeah.
It's just science.
And, I wasn't convinced about that as well.
Yeah, I was not happy
You know,
with
molting takes a long time. You know, those little birds are ugly for a while.
I require the finest of molting CGI, and I did not get it.
Did not deliver.
I have a high standard for molting CGI.
Did not deliver. Some of the effects regarding Magneto's abilities were not my favorite. Some of them were amazing.
Again, it was super hit and miss.
It was hit and miss for me as well. Yeah. So, I mean, all said and done, you know, all these things, what do you...
Well, we rate our movies
this bad boy
on a scale of 1 to 5.
Yes.
I enjoyed it. No, we're getting spoiled by superhero movies now.
We are.
Like, I remember back 15 years ago, superhero movies were just abysmal trash.
They were bad.
Like, comic book hero movies were
I thought they were good. I didn't know what I was watching. I was happy. Original Batman movie. I was happy.
Sorry, Michael Keaton.
Sorry.
But I feel like we've gotten really spoiled. So I feel like if this movie was like taken in like a vacuum, like by itself, you would think this is a really great movie. But in comparison to all the other great movies, and even in comparison to the latter 2 X-Men movies by Bryan Singer and Matthew Vaughn, I gotta say, really, really lackluster. I felt with the cast that it had. When you have all of these big names and all these great veteran actors, and you have returning directors and writers that did such a good job before, I just felt like there was a huge miss there. So I'm going to rate the movie 3 out of 5 bald James McAvoys.
3 out of 5 bald James McAvoys. Okay. I am going to rate this movie... I'm going to give it 2.5 bald James McAvoys.
Whoa.
Not a fan.
Whoa.
Not a fan. Sorry.
Quicksilver couldn't save this one.
No. But I do like him a lot.
I really thought you were going to rate it higher than me.
No.
Wow.
I was not impressed.
That's CGI.
I'm sorry.
Bender.
Oh yeah, and one other thing that I didn't mention that also really bothered me was Rose. The actress name's Rose.
Right.
She plays
Moira McTaggart.
Moira.
Moira.
What was Moira's point of being in this movie? Why was she in this movie? You can't answer me. You're speechless. You're speechless because there ain't no reason.
Her purpose was the very beginning, and then they just kept her on there because you got to pay Rose Byrne a lot of money to be in your movie, so you may as well use her.
You may as well just spend all your money on Rose Byrne so she can kickstart the movie, but then be there for no other reason. There were several things that happened that she should not have survived or been involved in, and I was not a fan.
And
Sorry.
let me leave you guys on this. This
Yeah.
question that I have about Moira McTaggart.
Yeah.
Who in the CIA is training these people to fly? Like, can you just learn to fly anything
Valid
in the CIA?
questions.
Like, is they just
Valid
like, is
questions.
your first week just learning out how to fly like super like warships?
That was a super ship.
And you just like jump into that thing and fly?
I mean, it's just a joystick and some buttons if you think about it.
So if we have any CIA people reading and watching this, please let me know how you guys get trained. Because apparently if I have CIA training, I can fly literally anything.
So I guess our joint rating for the movie is 2 2/3 bald James McAvoy.
Yeah, I would say 2.75 bald James McAvoys.
There you go. There you go.
We will leave with this as a recommendation, a call to action, if you will.
If you watch all the X-Men movies, you gotta go see it.
You got to see it if you're a fan of the X-Men movies.
You're a collector of sorts.
It does finish certain story arcs
It does.
as it does open new ones.
Does. Now, if you don't have any special emotional pull to the X-Men movies, you know, I gotta say personally, I would wait till you could watch it on your couch with your cats.
Rent it.
Comfortable.
It's a renter. So if you're not a big fan, just rent this bad boy because it ain't going to change your mind.
You can wait it out. Yeah. You can just wait. All right.
Well, looks like we've done these X-Men, so you guys have a great day.
Bye.